Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are looking at the sheer scale of the ultimate American mega machine, the Big Bud 747. You know, when most of us think of agricultural equipment, we usually picture those standard, everyday tractors dotting a quiet countryside. But today, we are throwing standard right out the window. We're going to explore a machine so incredibly massive and so powerful that it completely redefined what was mechanically possible in American farming.
All right, let's just dive right into this with a totally staggering statistic. 1,100. That is the amount of horsepower this custom-built tractor generates. To put that into perspective, the standard tractors you might see down at a local farm produce just a tiny fraction of that power. It's a massive leap in raw mechanical output, engineered specifically to muscle its way through the absolute toughest agricultural jobs imaginable.
But here's the thing, you need some incredible mass to actually harness that kind of power. The Big Bud 747 weighs in at an earth-crushing 50 tons, or about 45,000 kilograms. Without that extreme weight keeping it firmly grounded, all that horsepower would just uselessly spin the wheels against the dirt. That 50 tons guarantees that every single ounce of power translates directly into forward, groundbreaking momentum. So the big takeaway here is that this isn't just your run-of-the-mill piece of heavy equipment. The Big Bud 747 is widely regarded as the most powerful tractor ever built in the United States, and it easily ranks among the most powerful agricultural tractors in the entire world. It's not just some lab prototype either. It's a world-renowned, fully realized powerhouse of American engineering.
Section 1. Born for the Midwest.
Now, the origin story of this beast is super interesting because it was born in a very specific time and place. The Big Bud 747 rolled out back in 1977, manufactured right in Havre, Montana by the Northern Manufacturing Company. Back in the late 70s, farming was scaling up incredibly fast, and Northern Manufacturing saw a real opportunity to build something that absolutely no major competitor had even attempted yet. Which naturally leads us to ask a pretty logical question, right? Why on earth did someone feel the need to construct a 50-ton agricultural mega machine? I mean, what kind of farming actually requires 1,100 horsepower?
Well, the answer lies in the sheer geography of the United States. This tractor was designed specifically for large-scale farming operations in the American Midwest. We're talking vast, seemingly endless oceans of commercial farmland. When you're dealing with operations of that magnitude, beating the weather is everything, and standard equipment simply takes way too long. The Midwest needed equipment capable of operating on a monumental scale just to keep things profitable and efficient.
Section 2. Unmatched power and scale. Just listen to these specs. Powering this beast is a roaring 16-cylinder Detroit diesel engine, sitting on a chassis that's a massive 27 feet or 8.2 meters in length. And to handle the terrain, it relies on massive dual rear tires. Those dual tires are absolutely critical because they spread that 50-ton weight out just enough to prevent the tractor from sinking into the earth, while still gripping the soil tightly enough to pull some impossibly heavy loads.
And here's what it actually does with all that hardware out in the commercial fields. This massive structure serves a very specific, heavy-duty purpose: deep plowing and large-scale soil preparation. Prepping soil across thousands of acres means dragging heavy steel blades deep into the earth. It is grueling work that pushes standard tractors to their absolute limits. But for the Big Bud 747, it's exactly what it was built for. The real magic of deep plowing with a machine like this all comes down to field efficiency. Because of its immense power, the Big Bud can pull extremely wide agricultural implements, tools that would literally stall out a normal tractor. By dragging these incredibly wide implements, it covers way more ground in a single pass, which significantly reduces the overall time it takes to prepare the soil. So it's not just about being huge, it's about being incredibly time efficient. What really sets the Big Bud apart from modern farming equipment is the fundamental philosophy behind it. Today, high-end tractors rely so heavily on advanced electronics, computer systems, and delicate sensors. But the Big Bud 747, it's a masterclass in raw, earth-moving power. It doesn't use microchips to get the job done. It relies on massive cylinders, heavy steel, and pure brute force. It's a totally different era of engineering.
Section 3. An agricultural legend.
Get this. Astonishingly, only a single, custom-built, original unit of the Big Bud 747 was ever made. That's it. It was never mass-produced. There was no assembly line churning these things out by the hundreds. This was a totally unique, bespoke response to a very specific agricultural challenge.
But because it's such a one-of-a-kind icon of American engineering, it definitely hasn't been left to rust in a field somewhere. It's a living legacy. The Big Bud is still operational today and is carefully maintained by folks who really understand its historical value. It is an iconic symbol of U.S. agricultural engineering, and because of that, you'll frequently see it showcased in exhibitions and documentaries. People literally still flock just to hear that 16-cylinder Detroit diesel roar to life.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this to ponder. Will American farming ever see a custom-built mechanical beast like this again? With the modern shift toward advanced electronics, automation, and smaller robotic equipment, the era of raw, 50-ton mechanical titans might have passed. But the Big Bud 747 remains, standing as an unmatched monument to the sheer power and ambition of American agriculture.